Hello! Greetings, my fellow awakening ones. Welcome to the Seth Gavriel Adventure. I am your host, Seth Gavriel, and it's a beautiful evening here in Sebastopol, California, in Sonoma County, the heart of, the heart of a lot of things. Great farming and a lot of great artists. Incredible diversity of wildlife here. Anyway, so today, the topic of today's video is pacifism. So I'm going to talk about, define what it is, and then explain my opinion on when it is appropriate and when it is not, and becomes and it can actually become a problem when overly relied upon and resorted to in living in the world. So pacifism, for those of you who don't know, is simply non-violence, non-aggression. It's the principle of nonviolence in conflict, in conflicting situations, violent situations, war in particular, war of any kind. And I'll just say first, I'm speaking on this because I consider myself an awake and aware individual, right? I'm a member. I'm a human first and foremost, above most other labels, and then I am an infinite child of the one true living God. But whatever you believe, I'm a member of the earth. I'm a human, and I care very, very, very much about this place. And I'm also an old soul. Right, most of you don't know me. I know, maybe I look like just some random person, and I don't have all these accomplishments in life, but what materially in particular in this one. But what I do possess is deep knowledge and wisdom in many, many areas, including in war. Right, so I was not, before I get into pacifism, my stance of pacifism, just to tell you a little background on me, I'll just tell you, I did not serve in any military, in any combat situation, any military force in this life. Not that I didn't have potential to, possibly, if I didn't have certain health problems, or if I didn't have my own awareness of knowing, I really am only going to fight for the right cause, right? I'm not just going to get sucked into something because some outside person or force is trying to push me into it for their own reasons, which may or may not be moral and sound and just and right. So I did not serve, but I know I understand war very, very, very well. And just, I understand, like, at a deeper level, what is really going on, how does legal war work? How does military war work? How does cultural war work? How does interpersonal? How does war work between just two individuals in a family, in a business, in a church, in whatever situation? I know it very, very well. And as far as like the political situation, or just in the world, whatever you believe, you don't. A lot of people, if you're alive today and you're not completely zombified, you must be aware on some level we are in a war. We are in a world war. I would consider that from my perspective, we have been in World War III, very, very clearly for about 3 years now. And that's all I'm going to say on that. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. But this has been going on, this planet has seen thousands and millions, maybe even millions of wars, literally, depending on how you define it, right? From the micro to the macro, right? Thousands of major wars, certainly, on record for everybody to look at, no matter what the indoctrination, programming, and mind control that an individual may be experiencing. But anyways, as far as pacifism is concerned, I get it, right? I would love, I would love that in every conflict you could shift out of it by being pacifistic every single time. And while it is ideal to do that as much as possible, it's not realistic. It's not always logical for your survival and the survival of the people you love. Or if you see somebody getting attacked and you can do something, from my perspective, if I can do something, I'm gonna do it. Okay, I'm not just gonna sit there and watch somebody else get attacked in any way, and especially a child. Okay. If I see a child get attacked, it doesn't matter what situation I'm in. If I feel like I can do something about it, if I have no arms, okay, I have cancer and AIDS and I'm about to die. If I have any energy in me, I'm going to do what I can to protect that innocent, beautiful, perfect little child. So yeah, I get that for those of us who are pro-freedom and pro-sovereignty and pro-humanity and pro-life, okay, of everything and everyone, of protecting life, and especially protecting innocent life, okay, I am not one to do nothing about that and be quiet. That's not my style, and that is part of pacifism, right? It's there's great merit to pacifism. You don't want to, I seek to be a peaceful warrior. I champion that, encourage that for everyone, but I am still a warrior in this life among many things. And if I see an injustice, I'm gonna do something about it. I'm not just gonna sit there and hope that it works out, or the authorities take care of it, the police or somebody else. I'm not gonna pass the buck. And granted, like right now, I'm not in great shape, and a lot of the time my energy goes in and out, and I really, like, if it were up to me, I would save this whole planet. I would fix every single problem I saw in the best way I knew how, but it's not all up to me. And that's something I'm coming to understand too. But just as far as pacifism, when to use it and when not to, I feel like there's a lot of people in I don't like to say our side, but the pro-freedom people who want to move forward into peace, actually. Unfortunately, given the level of darkness and corruption and warfare at every level of our society, some of us have to fight, okay? And regular people, we have to, there's communities now that are like, gee, our police have been defunded the last couple of years, or they're here but they're not doing anything. They're just letting people do whatever they want, steal and rob and kill and traffic children. What about that one? Yeah, who are involved with that too, and profiting from it. And it's up to us, the citizens, right, to protect and defend ourselves, our community, our homes, our families, our schools, our cities, all of it, our farms. anything we hold dear. This is the time where we are the ones that we are the saviors of ourselves. Every single person, and individually supporting and saving themselves, fundamentally, and then while working with other people as they go along and receiving help from other people as need be, but not primarily, but just as you go along, right? And yeah, just as far as pacifism is concerned, there's a time and a place for it, and a lot of times it's not right now. It's not the time for it. Okay, I'm all about peaceful protesting and peaceful promoting peace. I love peace. I love it when people get along and we're all having a great time. That's what I want to see more of. But there's a lot of I'm an optimist, but I'm also a realist. And there are a lot of sick, disturbed people, and a lot of people that either are actively trying to destroy good in this world and kill and steal and manipulate others. And we all know this. I can go into countless examples of this. And there's and then there's a lot of people that just don't care, that are in their little bubble, and they can walk right past injustice and corruption and just tune it all out as long as they have their streaming and their and their high-paying job and a nice place, and they're able to travel and all this, and status and all this other shit, all this other material bullshit. I mean, right now, like, we need to get more spiritual, okay? And part of being spiritual is knowing, like, you do not, if somebody is attacking you, somebody's attacking your child, you don't just sit there and do nothing, okay? You have to fight. That's I'm sorry, but that's the world we live in. We don't live in a completely peaceful world yet. We're getting there. We will get there. By God as my witness, I will live to see peace on this planet. But we're not in that right now, okay? Look at what just happened in Turkey, in Syria, okay? For those of you who don't know, here's a wonderful example. Oh, gee, Turkey and Syria just had a major earthquake. And, what did the IDF just do? Oh, well, the Israeli Defense Force, they decided that the earthquake-torn area, the affected area in Syria, was ripe for. That was a good place to start bombing and attacking. Right after that, so what are you gonna do? What is Syria and Turkey gonna do? Are they just gonna sit there and let their earthquake-ravaged people take it? No. And look, this gets very, very. That's at the geopolitical level, but. And there are greater forces at work too that want everybody at war. If you haven't figured that out, okay, there's a handful of people that want perpetual warfare because they benefit from it, energetically, financially, and spiritually for them, because they're of the dark and they're sick and they feed on that. You know who I'm talking about too, some of you, okay? I call them the powers that were, and as well as others. But many know them as the elite, the Illuminati, the Satanists, the satanic cabal of people that run all the large corporations and banks and churches and most of the large institutions of the planet. Okay, and they've been perpetuating war here for a very, very long time, and now we've reached the apex of that, the peak, or hopefully like the worst of that. Okay, they're trying to get nuclear war going, and that's not going to happen either. But just as far as pacifism is concerned, I understand. I understand that not everybody is able to fight, not everybody knows how to fight, not everybody wants to fight, not everybody understands war. Not everybody has read about war, is tuned into war, and I get it. But more of us have to be, unfortunately, right now to get out of, to move forward and clean out all the dark, sick people that want to continue war going for their own purposes. And then at a higher level, even when we have peace, we're still going to need militaries, okay, to protect us from dark forces off planet. And that's a whole other subject. And I can get really deep and cosmological as far as with like galactic history and these different things. But I'm not going to go into that right now. But, we want to be spacefaring. Well, in the multiverse, there isn't just light beings, right? As you know, even from movies, you've seen, whether you believe or don't believe in aliens and extraterrestrials, interdimensional beings, ultra-terrestrials. There are there are beings of the light and beings of the dark. And the ones of the dark are very, very nasty, usually. And if a planet of the light is not able to defend itself, it gets infiltrated and taken over. And that's basically what happened here. That's how it got so bad here, because it did not start out this way. I think a lot of atheists and other people, they just they assume that like, oh, it's just planet Earth was always screwed up, was always war torn, or they're zombified and they don't even notice any of the problems, or they just tune it all out as long as their electricity is working and they have all their material crap met and whatever material needs met, but and some of their emotional needs. But yeah, just I am. Oh, and this is the other thing I wanted to say too. As far as the spiritual community is concerned, there's a lot of people, and the truther and the awakening community. Like, there's a lot of people. Well, no, I'll just say more the spiritual community and awakening community, if any of you are familiar with that, those communities. I feel like in my experience and observation, actually directly, I have certainly butted heads with a couple people on either like them thinking they knew more about war than I did, and they didn't want to hear about the possibility of things like open martial law, and a shutdown as being a necessary, real politic, a necessary action in order to prevent civil war. Like, a couple people, they do not want to hear that. To, just other people that do not, that are very into the ascended masters. They're very connected to, they love like an ascended master. They love all the ascended masters and they think they're all perfect. But some of them have their flaws too. And as far as pacifism is concerned, I'll give you an example. As one of them is Kuan Yin. Okay, now I don't know so much about Kuan Yin, I'll admit, but what I do know is that she was Chinese, and she was a woman, but she was a pacifist, basically. She's very, when she comes through channeling, she's very about non-violence, non-resistance, non-aggression. And she would, my sense is that she, in her soul history, she was either never a warrior or did not have to be a warrior that much overall. And so she just doesn't get it, and she's great on a lot of other topics, but when it comes to war, she does not understand it, because it's just not part of her wheelhouse, spiritually speaking, so to speak. And it's such a chaotic time, because it's like, if we can just, I feel like if we could unify at least insofar as like understanding, okay, all humans want the same basic things, whatever our beliefs, we are one race, we are one family, and that race and family has been enslaved and set and put in fear and set against itself for a very, very long time. And in order to get out of that, we all have to understand that we have a common enemy right now, and we need to unify, and some of us have to take up arms to get out of that, even though we don't want to. Okay, it's like in the American Revolution, all right, you had, and a lot of other wars too, where you had invaders, you had corrupt, psychopathic people trying to force their way, what they wanted, on everybody else. And you had farmers and their sons and even daughters having to take up arms, who did not want to fight, had no interest, but they had to, or else they would either die or be enslaved. And you know, it's just, I know it sucks, it's unfortunate, and war is horrible. I'm not advocating war. It's not to be done lightly. It's, you never, you know, it's to be done in a high-minded way. And that's what I believe I'm talking about, is we are in a time where more people do have to stand up and step up and do have to fight. And sometimes more than with more than words, unfortunately. Okay, if somebody's trying to rob you, or somebody's trying to kidnap your child, or your wife, or your husband, or your friend, or you know, or burn half your town down, I'm sorry, but there is no savior. There's nobody's coming to rescue us. I mean, we're getting a lot of help, but we have to, on a local level, in this country and globally, have to start taking up arms, in some cases against these sick people that are trying to completely enslave us more than we already were before this thing started a few years ago. And yeah, so these are just some of my thoughts. Take what resonates and leave the rest. You know, I allow, you can agree, disagree, slightly disagree, be neutral, whatever. But these are just my opinions, my thoughts. I'm entitled to them as you are entitled to yours. And I do will and intend that you benefited somewhat, that this sparked something for those of you that this did resonate with, and for those of you that it did not, I wish you the best. Truly, I wish you peace, love, and prosperity in the highest and brightest way for you and your loved ones. And yeah, just may we have peace once and for all in this otherwise beautiful and an amazing, incredible planet and people. So God bless you all, and may the peacemakers win.